Hey guys, what's going on? Max here for slurv.com, bringing you a GPP video for today. Long time no see, and hope everybody had a fun and profitable Memorial Day weekend. Today is the last day of May, and we have a fun 12-game slate at night. There's also a 3-game morning slate, but I'm going to skip that one as it's too few games, and you need a couple more games to gain an edge over the field, and gaining an edge is what we specialize here at Slurv. So don't play the 3-game slate, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, let's talk about pitching. Arrieta's going today against the Dodgers offense that has lacked punch lately, so he projects for a nice game at home. However, the regression we were talking about before the Cardinals game started appearing for Arrieta as he got beat up for a bit for 4 earned runs in 5 innings in that game. It should continue. His xFIP is still a run higher than his ERA, and although he's a much better pitcher in real life than he's in fantasy, we should expect the ERA to match xFIP eventually. Can Arrieta give you 30 points today? He definitely can, but I don't think the ceiling is there for the price. And on a day with a bunch of high-priced bats that we want to fit in our lineups, I'm going to skip on Arrieta today, and I think you should also. Jose Fernandez has been absolutely fantastic, posting 30-point and up performances in his last 5 starts. He's finally being allowed to throw over 100 pitches and go deeper in the game. He's also walking less guys than he did in the beginning of the year, which is also good for his upside. He's facing the Pirates offense today that has frankly been on fire and is ranked in the top 5 against right-handed pitching. However, Fernandez has a ridiculous 45% strikeout rate versus right-handed hitters, and Pirates don't really have many lefties in their lineup. So I think that even though this 45% K rate is going to regress a little bit over the course of the year, he still struck out over 30% last year, so it's not going to regress that much. I do like Fernandez here. He's very expensive, but I definitely think he's my preferred option from the 2 expensive guys. So I think we can also go lower and get similar ceiling here. Matz and Nola are the guys that I would like to put in my lineups for safety and upside. Matz has been fantastic so far this year, and at first glance, I was thinking he was pitching a bit over his head. However, the underlying stats are not showing him getting lucky, and today's matchup with the White Sox, so I've just been awful over the last 10 games, is very favorable. Matz has been reverse split so far this year, so he's allowing more hard contact versus lefties than righties, which is very interesting because the White Sox don't have many good lefty batters. He struck out both sides of the plate at a 25% clip, so I think he has a very nice high floor in this matchup, and the ceiling isn't bad for an 11K pitcher. This brings us to my favorite pitcher on every slate, and Aaron Nola. Washington sucks against curveballs, and Nola has the best curve in the league pretty much, and he has already dominated them once so far this year. I think he's going to be the lowest owned of the upper tier, and I expect him to have a very nice floor and ceiling in this matchup. Vegas also agrees, as the total has gone down half a run so far since the betting opened, which is probably due to the fact that Harper left the game with an injury, which is also a boost for Nola. So this brings me to the cheap pitchers to use today to fit in all of the bats. Some highlights of my favorite guys. Joe Ross against the Phillies will probably be the most popular for good reason. Phillies aren't very good, and Ross is a nice young pitcher with a great ground ball rate. So his K percentage is a bit low at 8,500, but I think he presents us with a very nice floor, which might be something we all need on a day like today. Smiley's priced down today facing Kansas City. Not sure I love the matchup, and Smiley has been struggling lately. So even though the price is at 8,800, excuse me, I think there are better options here. Happ is one of my favorites for his floor again against a struggling Yankee offense. They just can't hit lately, and I expect Happ to be somewhat popular against them. He also nudged a nice game against them last week. Duffy's down here versus Oakland. Oakland does not strike out much, and but they do provide a limited ceiling for any pitcher they face due to the fact that they also don't score many runs and they don't strike out much is what I'm trying to say here. So he is in play today. My two favorite options are even lower, however. We have Eddie Rodriguez against the Orioles, who just cannot make any contact with off-speed pitches so far. Unfortunately, Eddie throws 60% fastballs. However, if the Red Sox are looking at the tape and seeing Orioles being as poor as they have been against off-speed, they will let Eddie throw his changeup a lot more. His changeup is actually his best pitch, but he only throws it about 25% of the time. If this goes up, I think he could have a very nice ceiling day versus the Orioles. Dylan G is super unsexy, but Tampa is just so bad against right-handers. And G is not bad, doesn't have a bad 10.2% swinging strike rate so far this year. I don't see him getting blown up at home also, so I think there is a little bit of a floor here. But ceiling is limited, so if you want ceiling, I would rather go for Eddie. The early stacks, we have the Mets. They make for a nice upside stack against Latos. He's finally regressing as we predicted. He had a sub-zero ERA and 5 xFIP, so that was just not going to last. Anyway, target Mets power lefties here should be overlooked for the sexier spots on today's slate. Coors has lots of rain today, but if it plays, I will target John Moscott, the sacrificial lamb for today's slate, with every single one of the Rockies batters. You can also target John Gray, but he's pretty talented, although he's not been good at home so far in his career. Anibal Sanchez likes to give up hard-hit balls in bunches, and Angels do not hit the ball very hard, but I do like the upside of the top of their order here, and Vegas agrees with me, giving them a 4.5 run total. St. Louis is pretty bipolar so far this year, but I don't think even they are bipolar enough not to destroy Willie Peralta. I love their stack with upside today. Guys like Matt Adams and Brandon Moss especially, as well as Carpenter. Minnie was really good against lefties last year. So far they've struggled this year, and I'm not sure why. They have pretty much all the same hitters. I love Dozier, Sano, and Nunez here against Surkamp, who is really, really bad. The Blue Jays are priced down today against CC, who inexplicably costs $9K on DraftKings. Not sure how that works. I know he's throwing 93 miles an hour since he came back from the DL. Cough, juice, cough. I will take the Blue Jays, however, here versus CC. I don't suggest stacking them, however, but I think getting some guys into your lineup is going to be profitable, especially because they are underpriced. Whistler's bad against lefties, and Giants have been very good against, have some very good left-handed batters. Like Crawford, Betts, and Panic here. I think they're all in play. Last but not least, we have Detroit that got shut down yesterday by Chacin. Props to Adam, the pitching whisperer, for calling that one. Today, they try and take revenge on Santiago. They're very expensive, but I think they're a really nice upside pivot away from Coors, as you pretty much can't play Coors and these guys unless you want to punt both pitchers. Anyway, that's all for me today. Remember, chat is tonight at 5 p.m. Then we're going to build some lineups. So I will see you all later. Peace.